When Mother killed herself, she didn't die. Well, she died, but not really. It's a funny thought. Everything that she was, everything that made her Anna Kurosawa, left the planet on that day. Her body remained, but her soul had departed. She got sent away to a care facility, and I didn't see her very often after that. On the rare occasions I visited her, I would always notice that her eyes no longer looked like mine. I hate her for what she did to our family. Noriko and I were only children at the time, but Mother hung herself up from the ceiling and made us watch. She encouraged us to kick the chair out from underneath her. We didn't understand what she was doing. She told us it was a game. So we kicked the chair and we laughed. And Mother laughed, and then her neck snapped and she stopped laughing, and that light in her eyes I once shared with her was extinguished instantly. Noriko screamed and I screamed, and Mother just wouldn't move, and we couldn't get her down from the ceiling, and eventually Noriko remembered how to call for an ambulance. Where are we? Oh yeah. And the paramedics arrived and we were taken away. And after that, I was completely fucked up, because you don't just walk away from something like that and act like nothing happened. I spent years trying to force the painful memories of her attempted suicide out of my mind. But I didn't exactly cope with it very well. How could I? I became terrified of the world and became used to locking myself inside and wasting away. Noriko dealt with it a little better than me. I can't say her rebellious behaviour was the right way to cope, but it had to have been healthier than staying inside for weeks at a time. By the time I reached senior high school, I think I'd mostly gotten past everything. The vision of Mother hanging from the ceiling in front of me didn't haunt my dreams. The sound of our laughter intermingled with screaming didn't always ring in my ears. Aoi helped me through a lot of it. She shared all of her problems with me, and it made me feel a bit better, like maybe my life wasn't so bad. Aoi's life was kind of messed up. Her father was arrested for various crimes and didn't spend much time in her life. When we were about ready to graduate, he came back to town and violently attacked her. She called me and told me that he killed her. But she killed him too, so it was going to be okay. Her words, not mine. I never understood what she meant when she said she was dead. I think graduating put some distance between us, so I never truly tried to figure out her words. My own problems came back to haunt me once I moved out of home. I became completely distracted and almost forgot about Aoi. The apartment I moved into, I should have known that the smell of mould wasn't normal. I should have paid attention to the shoddy repair work that had been performed on the wall. I should have just walked away and found somewhere else to live. But that apartment, I suppose that's where I started to lose control of my life. And that's exactly the reason why I need to return there. Several days later.
Looks the same as always.
I'm not looking forward to climbing the rest of the stairs up to the apartment. I can hardly walk at all, even on flat ground. But I have to do this. I can let stitches and bandages and painkillers distract me from getting inside. I don't know how long I was in the hospital for. None of my personal effects were with me when I woke up. I had no phone, no purse, no handbag. But the doctors monitored me for a few days and then let me go, even though I told them I had nowhere to return to. They just threw me onto the street. They couldn't even tell me what happened to the girl who attacked me. They had no idea if she had been arrested or not. I have a feeling she's still out there. Regardless, I'm here now. My wound is apparently on the mend and I don't have any signs of infection. All I have to focus on is the ascent in front of me. Each step I climb is more difficult to conquer than the last. Each time I raise my leg, I experience a tearing, searing agony along the length of my stomach. More than once, I have to stop and check that my stitches haven't torn wide open. When I'm sure my flesh is more or less intact, I continue scaling the mountain. My head throbs and beads of sweat drip down my face. When I hit the landing on the level below my own apartment, I spy a familiar face.
Noriko?
Momo Ogawa, the daughter of Kenji Ogawa, the man I framed in order to maintain my innocence.
Hey, Momo. Dad!
Her panicked cry isn't the reaction I was suspecting. Her father is exiting their apartment just as Momo cries out. He does a double take before glaring at me.
Noriko, surprised to see you here.
I can't quite get a grasp on his tone. Is he happy to see me or angry? Does he even know that I'm the reason he was arrested? Well, I'm assuming that the police let him go fairly quickly. After all, he's here at home and not rotting in a cell.
Hello.
The landlord said you disappeared.
Yeah, kind of.
Are you okay? You look like...
His gaze turns from the hospital tags adorning my wrists and the package of severe bandages I have slung over my shoulder.
You know, you disappeared right around the time the police...
Huh?
Forget it. It's nothing.
I have a bad feeling that he's beginning to piece something together. If he works out that I'm behind his false arrest, then...
Sorry, I should go.
Yeah. Come on, Momo.
Bye, Noriko. Bye, Momo.
The girl waves excitedly as her father leads her downstairs. I should feel relieved that he's safe, but honestly, I just feel guilty. My actions, Corpse Girl's actions, put a lot of strain on that little family. I have to keep going. The last flight of stairs is torture on my battered body, but I persevere and reach the front door of my apartment. It's at this moment that I remember I don't have any keys to get in. Shit. Out of desperation, I try turning the handle and the door opens. Either I left the place unlocked or the landlord has been inside and forgot to lock up. I'm just thankful that I can keep moving forward. The curtains are open, bathing the living area in a soft light.
I'm home.
Home. No, that's not right. This isn't my home. This isn't Noriko's home. This is Corpse Girl's home. I never really lived here. I simply existed within these walls. The real Noriko was held hostage by an omnipotent presence sealed in this home. The things here are just as I left them so long ago. It's a comforting feeling, but at the same time it sends a chill down my spine. It's time to move on. I stride with purpose towards the kitchenette and slide open one of the drawers. Inside is a small mallet with a metal head. It's a treasure I acquired from the garden shed of the apartment grounds back when I first moved in. It's not very large, but that suits me just fine. I don't have the strength to wield anything bigger than this. Bringing it to bear is still a great deal of effort. I grip the handle with both hands and lift the deceptively heavy tool. Equipped with this tiny weapon of destruction, I slowly lurch through the hallway. I make my way to the end where blank, stark white wall faces me. The paint on the wall is peeling like it was slapped on without care. The plaster is cracked like it was applied by an amateur. And the lingering stench of mould is at its strongest when I stand in front of this wall. I bring the mallet down with both arms, the heavy metal head crashing into the wall with as much force as I can muster. The struggle of bearing the mallet is taking its toll on my wound. I feel the stitches in my stomach threatening to snap and break. But I can't stop here. I can't stop until I've crushed this wall and revealed the glittering contents of the trove hidden inside. Another swing and another crash against plaster. A cry of pain and another hole in the wall. I scream and swing and hammer and groan and slash and weep, and the wall crumbles beneath my sheer force of will. White dust clouds my vision and provokes me into a coughing frenzy. When my eyes and throat clear up, I throw the mallet to the carpet and venture forward. I clamber through the human-sized hole in the wall and find myself within the secret cache on the other side. The stench assaulting my nostrils is no longer disguised itself as mould. It's the fetid malodor of rot and decay, the inimitable trademark of a decomposing corpse. I spent so long fooling myself into believing it was nothing concerning. I spent so long pretending that a corpse did not live within the walls of the apartment. The truth is, this corpse pinned onto the wall is the root of all evil. It's an infinite fount of misery and despair and malice and death and hatred. This is Corpse Girl.
Hello, old friend.
The corpse does not reply. To call it a corpse is no longer entirely accurate. It has become little more than a skeleton in osseous edifice, a macabre tribute to the unyielding sands of time. Bone and flesh and hair and fabric bend and intertwine and meld together to form a sickening representation of human beauty. Beauty. I used to think this body was pure perfection back when the corpse was more or less intact. It was the image of a gorgeous, vibrant young woman. I aspired to become just as beautiful. Slender, elegant, graceful, with pale skin and dark eyes. Looking at her now, it's clear to see that I was deceived. The form before me is not beautiful. It's revolting. I shaped myself in the image of death, truly believing I was transcending mortal beauty. This corpse controlled me for so long. This corpse manipulated me and made me want to become just like it. Somewhere along the way, my own identity began to dissolve and I started to believe that I had become this rotting carcass, this pallid bag of flesh. The spell had been broken. I don't know if it's because my near-death experience or the clarity of my mind inspired by an intoxicating cocktail of painkillers, but I no longer want to be associated with Corpse Girl. I want to be myself, just Noriko. I no longer want to kill in the name of this blasphemous effigy.
Corpse Girl, I found you here, trapped in this storage closet, just over a year ago. And you stole my life from me.
Looking at her now, I can't help but wonder what the hell went through my mind when I let her possess me. Why did discovering this corpse have such profound lasting effect on my psyche? I shut my eyes as a wave of dizziness threatens to overcome me. Staggering in the near darkness, I struggled to regain my balance. I had blocked out the memory of discovering this corpse for so long, I refused to acknowledge it ever happened. But the crystallized fragments of that forgotten memory have finally breached the surface of my consciousness. I can finally recall the event thanks to the clarity brought about by my current state of mind. It happened several days after I moved into this apartment. The musty smell of mould lured me to the wall at the end of the corridor, the wall that had been hastily patched up and covered with plaster and paint. I wondered about the source of the smell. I figured it might be a leak, a busted pipe that needed repair. Instead of calling upon the landlord for assistance, I took matters into my own hands. Perhaps I was inspired by my newfound independence. I had just become a free young woman living on my own for the first time. Perhaps I was just stupid. I located a mallet in the garden shed. I tore down the wall. I found Corpse Girl, and in that moment I fell to my knees. Someone had hung this corpse up on the wall and decorated the storage room with books and photographs. The sight of the dead woman bearing down on me instantly unearthed the buried memories of my mother's attempted suicide. The pain and desperation that I had repressed for so long found its way out of my mouth and formed an unholy scream. I think the fear of that discovery and the subsequent revival of subdued memories caused me to slip in and out of consciousness. I was paralyzed by fear and my entire body was wrecked with pain. Looking back now, I feel like I must have spent days lying in a heap on the floor of this storage closet. Days spent within dreary hazes of dread and depression and distress. Days spent at the feet of that hanging corpse, that form I began to look up to and idolize. Days spent in a lull fever dream, surrounded by photographs on the wall of all manner of corpses. Days and days of my soul and identity slipping between my fingers. Something must have eventually cracked inside me, because I remember getting to my feet and repairing the wall. I don't know how I did it, but I patched it up and painted over it and vacuumed up all the dust and debris from the carpet. And then the memory of the entire incident just vanished from my mind. The only relic I retrieved from that storage space was a single book, a heavy tome that must have tumbled out of the closet during my delirium. Faust Photography, A Comprehensive History of Photo Manipulation. So, Kojiro created Corpse Girl. Kojiro caused this whole thing. Now, Corpse Girl doesn't look the way she used to. Uncovering her today hasn't shocked me into submission like it did all that time ago. Am I stronger now? No, not really. But I was prepared to face her this time. And now I'm here to bury her. As I calmly assess how difficult it will be to retrieve her from her position, my eyes fall upon the dozens of photos plastered haphazardly across the walls. Photographs of nameless bodies printed with an instant camera. There must be 10 or 20 or 30 corpses across the entire series of images. I don't recognise any of them. That's the only comfort I can take from viewing the images, the comfort that I'm not the one who decorated this room with these macabre visuals. Whoever put these photos up is undoubtedly the same person responsible for hanging Corpse Girl on the wall. All the photos look so real, and all the corpses are in such normal situations. There's an image of a decomposing body sitting on a bench waiting at a train platform. He's wearing a suit like any ordinary businessman. Another image is of a headless couple at a dinner table, dressed in their Sunday best. They're sharing candlelit meal. Corpses going about their daily life. It's eerily reminiscent of something else I've encountered before. What was it? A book I read. Instinctively, my eyes dart to the piles of books toppled over in the corner of the storage room. There are dozens of duplicate books, as if they were abandoned here by their own author. I crouch and dust off the cover of the book at the top of the pile. Dazed by the Dead by Noble Sinclair. Noble Sinclair. Underneath 10 more copies of that volume is a different book with a familiar cover. Strange Flower. I know this. The very same book that Kojiro lent me so long ago. Except the book here is not the same worn, well-read library copy. It's in pristine condition save for the layer of dust coating it. There are nearly a dozen copies of this book as well. Someone intentionally abandoned these books here, and the fact that they are accompanying so many photos of corpses, not to mention Miss Corpse Girl herself, is no coincidence. These books and photos, as well as the copy of Faust Photography I found here so long ago, all of this somehow embedded itself into my consciousness and inspired me to start Corpse Girl's website. It's Kojiro Noble Sinclair. I'm sure of it. This room, this fucking cursed room, ruined my life and corrupted my mind. And I have to wonder if somebody planned it all. Did somebody leave all of these things here in order to break whoever entered? That's probably a far-fetched concept, but I'm desperate to place the blame on somebody, anybody but myself.
Enough.
A light slap to my face snaps me out of my inner ramblings. It's time to bury Corpse Girl and put this life behind me once and for all. I can't really atone for the things I've done this last year. Hell, I don't actually feel like I need to atone. It's not guilt that's eating me up inside. But at the very least, I can move on. I carefully remove the restraints tying Corpse Girl to the wall and feel the weight of her rotted body collapse against my own frail form. Her head leans against my shoulder, and for a brief moment I pause and let her rest against me. I run a hand through what's left of her hair. She's been through a lot. We both have. We're both Corpse Girl. Well, we both used to be. Now we are just empty husks with no purpose. If we're not Corpse Girl, we'll probably be forgiven, lost to time and memory. For once in my life, I am looking forward to being forgotten. Okay, I got the finale clear, complete the final act achievement. I've got a Tomaway thing? I've got a Tomaway ending. God, this place is boring as hell. After all the shit I've been through this year, I simply can't believe I'm still working here. If it weren't for Shinya, I probably wouldn't bother coming in every day. But I want to patch things up with him. If I keep talking to him in the office, surely I'll crawl my way back into forgiveness. Speaking of that son of a bitch, here he comes now. Look at him. He walks past my desk and doesn't even acknowledge my existence. How can he ignore me after all the time we spent together? Fucking hell. He irritates the shit out of me sometimes. I'll just have to take matters into my own hands if he won't talk to me. I'll just make him talk. I leave my desk and stride over to him. My heavy footsteps aren't exactly elegant or befitting a lady, as my mother used to always say, but I don't really give a flying fuck.
Hey, what's going on?
The slurred, drawling words that drip from my mouth don't come out the way I want. That always seems to be the case. Everyone treats me like some dumbass dipshit because of the way I speak. They don't understand it's the way somebody thinks that really matters. I can't help if I was brought up to speak like a fucking imbecile. Blame my father, not me.
Oh. Hello, Tomoe.
Hello yourself. What's a gal gotta do to get a conversation out of you these days?
Huh? What do you mean?
Come on. You know we don't speak like we used to.
Well, we broke up. You dumped me. What exactly do you expect from me now?
Oh, please. You know I'm sorry for that. I told you 1,000 times that breaking it off with you was the stupidest thing I've ever done. So come on! Get back together with me, will ya?
Tomoe, you broke my heart.
Yeah, I know. Shinya, I really love you. I need you.
I'm not normally one to get embarrassed, but letting my feelings hang in the air between us really makes me uncomfortable.
Did you hear about my father?
Huh?
I wasn't expecting him to shrug off my confession with a swift change of topic.
He's tracked down an important member of the Human Removal Service.
Jeez, not this shit again. Can't you just let it all go?
No, I can never do that. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I could use a hand, if you're willing to assist. Having someone by my side with insider information would be rather handy. Don't you agree?
I'm kind of blindsided by his request. I know that he knows everything. I'd be stupid to pretend he hasn't figured it all out by now. He knows of my involvement with Noriko. He knows that I had a hand, however indirect, in the suicide cases that Corpse Girl painted across the city.
I'm not going to judge you for working with Noriko. If you can help me bring the greater perpetrator to justice, the head of the Human Removal Service, then I think it may have been a good thing that you did what you did.
That's so. You'd forgive me for getting involved with such stupid shit?
Yes. I'd have no choice but to forgive you. And maybe we can even move further forward.
I know he's just saying what I want to hear. He can be manipulative in his own way. But if there's a chance I can make it up for the shit I've done and win Shinya over again, then I have to go for it.
Right. Sign me up then, or whatever. I'll help out.
Thank you, Tomoe. I'm going to interview the individual involved with the Human Removal Service.
Are you allowed to do that?
Of course. Father said I'm an important member of the investigation team now. I'd like you to come with me. You might be able to point out any inconsistencies in his testimony.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I'll do my best.
For the first time in a long time, Shinya smiles at me.
Ah, shit, man. I told you, I don't know. Can you just leave me alone?
This guy is pathetic. Every time I open my mouth, he flinches and recoils in terror, like he thinks I'm gonna hit him or stab him.
Listen here, you little shit. If you don't spill the deets, my man here will crush your fat skull into dust.
Tomoe, maybe you should let me do the talking from here on out.
Whatever.
I back off and let Shinya take my place. I talked him up so I thought he'd be pleased, but maybe I just annoyed him.
Mr. Matsumoto.
Please, just call me June. Hey, nice try, mister. I ain't your friend. You can address me formally. Thank you very much.
He folds his arms across his chest and adopts a pouting expression of a child.
Yes. Well, as I was saying, Mr. Matsumoto, you understand why you've been brought in for questioning, yes?
Yeah, man, but, like, I'm totes innocent, you know? I don't even know nothing about the human removal service. You guys think I'm involved, but you haven't given a reason why you think that.
Shinya retrieves a small pocket notebook from somewhere and flips through the pages. After a moment's silence, he clears his throat.
Several witnesses, plus a security camera, placed you at the scene of a murder just 2 days ago. Now, it's apparent you weren't the culprit. However, your activities at the time of the incident were questionable at best.
Oh, what activities are you referring to, Detective Man?
You were cheering, and I quote, "Kill him dead. Kill him dead."
Yo, that don't sound like something I'd say. I want my lawyer. You can't detain me here.
Mr. Matsumoto, you willingly came here when we contacted you. You are not under arrest.
This is ludicrous. Ludicrous, I say!
Be that as it may, I have a few more questions. One witness declared that you followed the masked culprit after they fled the scene of the crime. Is there any truth to this claim?
Nah, man, like, I just needed to go the same direction, you know? I've got no idea who this Herald person you keep mentioning is.
Shinya raises an eyebrow and casts me a dark look. I just shrug.
I never mentioned the word Herald. Is that the name the culprit refers to themselves as?
Oh, this is like some detective mind trick, ain't it? I have the right to remain silent. Anything I say or do, or whatever, can be like...
I've had enough of this creep's inane ramblings.
Listen up!
I slam my fist against the table and send Junpei rolling back in his seat. He nearly falls off the chair, but manages to regain his balance.
You've got two options here. Number one, tell us the identity of that killer, the person you called the Herald.
What's the other option?
Number two, tell us who is really in charge of the human removal service.
His sweaty, pulsating forehead is glowing red.
I can't betray the identity of the Herald. I just can't. But the guy behind all of this? I say fuck him. I'll sell him out if it means you'll pardon my involvement.
I don't know what caused this sudden change in attitude, but Shinya gives me a grateful nod, and it feels good to have been helpful.
Please, Mr. Matsumoto, please give us a name.
Okay. Look, you gotta know this.
Is he going to say Kojiro?
I don't have all the deets, okay? I'm not as important as y'all think I am. But the guy running this whole thing, he's got an army of masked killers. An army of damaged chicks all going around, killing and calling themselves the Herald.
And the name of this ringleader?
Like I said, I don't know everything. I don't got his full name. I only know him as N. Sinclair.
Oh my god. And is Nobel Sinclair Kojiro? A foreign name, although the first name could be Japanese, I suppose. Shinya is jotting the name down and confirming the correct spelling with Junpei. I find myself lost in thought and far detached from the moment. For some strange reason, Noriko's face pops into my mind. I have a fuzzy recollection of a conversation with her, but any attempt to clarify the thought in my mind is useless.
Shinya, is the name familiar to you?
Yes,
Amazing. Shinya always surprises me.
So who is it?
Noriko Kurosawa once told me about a book she was reading. Now, please understand, I don't share the same taste in fiction as hers, so...
Yeah, I get it. Get to the point.
She used to read the most macabre, horrific stories, and she told me about one book in particular. A book about a man obsessed with corpses.
Obsessed with corpses, huh? Jeez, don't that sound familiar? Wait, what am I saying? That does sound familiar. She told me about that book, too. Flower. Something about a flower.
Yes, Strange Flower. A book by Nobel Sinclair.
Nobel Sinclair. N. Sinclair himself.
Jeez. You reckon that's the guy behind the human removal service?
I don't know, but it's a lead. A man obsessed with the dead. Truly despicable.
That's one way to put it. I've done my time with sickos like that, had enough of it, and put it all behind me.
Yo! Detective man. Can I, go now?
Absolutely not.
Shinya turns away from Junpei and beckons one of the armed police officers standing guard at the room's entrance. The officers walk over and wait Shinya's command.
Arrest this man.
Yo, that's whack! What are you doing?
The police officer cuffs Junpei and yanks him out of his chair.
Damn. Shinya, that was cold.
It had to be done.
Junpei Matsumoto is dragged away kicking and screaming. Silence falls upon the room after the door closes in the police officer's wake.
So, what now, Detective Man?
Shinya scratches his chin as though wondering why I should call him that, but he doesn't voice his discontent.
Our next step is to track down the author, Nobel Sinclair. Maybe he's our culprit, maybe not. Either way, we won't know until we talk to him.
Right on. And what about...
Shinya interrupts me with a sudden soft kiss on the lips. I close my eyes and lean into him, letting his warmth envelop me.
Shinya...
I couldn't have done this without you, Tomoe. And I wouldn't be the man I am today had it not been for you. So, thank you.
Does this mean you want to be with me again?
Yes. If you'll have me.
Hey! My heart swells with his confirmation. I've never been so happy.
Shinya, of course!
He kisses me again and the fear I had of losing him instantly washes away. I won't fuck it up this time. I'll keep him close to me and protect him forever. I reluctantly break away from his embrace and hold his chin delicately in my fingers.
Let's go find this Nobel Sinclair fucker.
Yes. Let's find him and bring him to justice.
Ending B, false. Oh, unlock the bonus ending. I unlocked the bonus ending. Aoi and I always used to dream about getting away, breaking away from all the stress and tension of our everyday world. She dreamt of going somewhere cold for winter getaway, somewhere she could snuggle up by a warm fireplace and drink hot cocoa and feel at peace. I told her I'd like to visit a sunny holiday destination. But I don't know why I said that back then. It was a lie. I hated the sun. The harsh light and the warmth always used to leave my skin feeling prickly and scorched. However, things have changed, through no plans of my own. For some reason, leaving behind the life of Corpse Girl helped me appreciate a few of the little things in life. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just happy I survived. Maybe I'm just glad that I don't have to keep living in that accursed apartment. I haven't fully recovered from the stab wound Aoi inflicted upon me. I haven't fully recovered from the scars she left in my heart. I don't think I ever will be 100% healthy again. My doctor says the things take time, but Maybe a slight limp and a dull ache in my gut from time to time is a small price to pay for my life. I made the decision a few weeks ago to attempt a beachside vacation. It went well. Pale, ghostly Noriko Kurosawa sat on a beach and attempted to get a tan. I did it for myself, not out of some misguided notion that I should live out a dream vacation for Awie's sake. Aoi can go on her own damn vacation whenever she wants. It's not like she's limping around with a cane and a serpentine scar across her beautiful skin. It's not like she had to struggle against the entire world just to get on an airplane. The beach was gorgeous. The water was pristine. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. But those moments of sunshine and relaxation were fleeting. Sitting alone now in the empty apartment makes that painfully clear. I had to return to Tokyo eventually, it was inevitable. But it feels like there's nothing here for me anymore. Maybe I'll move once more, go to Osaka or Nagoya. No one in Tokyo for me. Aoi, Kojiro, they're either dead or dead to me. Tomoe doesn't call me, doesn't answer her messages. Shinya. Nothing, no one in Tokyo for me. My eyelids close gently and the sweet embrace of sleep takes me. I decide to go for a walk to clear my head. But after returning to my new apartment building, I somehow forget my apartment number. I've only just moved in after all.
Shit! How could I forget something so important?
I wander the cold hallways trying to locate my place. 238, 248. Which one was it? Completely lost, I decide to turn around and search in the opposite direction. As I turn, slightly open door catches my attention. Who would leave their door open? Anyone could walk into your apartment and steal your belongings. This thought quickly scampers off as I find myself pushing the door ever so gently. It swings open slowly, revealing a room lit only by the flickering light of a television.
Hello? You left your door open. Is anyone in there?
My timid voice sounds unfamiliar to my own ears. I realise that I've rarely spoken in the last few days, save for the occasional pleasantry exchange with the staff from the moving company. When no answer from within the room is forthcoming, I take a careful step inside. No sound comes from the television in the corner. It has been muted, but the screen has been left on for some reason. My eyes strain to peer into the near darkness. Once my eyes finally decipher the scene before me, I realise that I'll never be able to delete the vision that plagued me for most of my life. My mother hangs from the ceiling, a rope coiled around her neck like a boa constrictor. Her mouth agape, half smile, half scream upon her lips. Her eyes are vacant and stained black with the filthy muck of regret. Her legs dangle helpless and unable to secure a foothold upon the chair that has fallen to the ground. The chair that I kicked out from under her while I laughed and laughed along with Yuriko. Thick clump of bile bubbles up within my throat and it takes all of my strength to resist keeling over and vomiting. The body hanging above me, the soulless corpse peering down at me. This is not my mother. This is not. This person, this nameless woman, she has been dead for hours at least. I didn't kick the chair out from under her. Yuriko isn't here laughing alongside me. I'm here alone. The woman isn't struggling. She isn't pleading for help or forgiveness. She isn't cursing her stupid mistake. She is gone, just gone. Her soul has departed for whatever afterlife awaits us once we leave this purgatory. She is nothing more than a hanging corpse, nothing more than a sack of flesh and bone. The disgusting urge to throw up begins to ebb away as I stare up at the ceiling. The light of the television illuminates the corpse face beautifully, revealing skin gently kissed by light freckles and eyes creased. Is she going to hang it up in the wall? Is she going to create the next corpse girl? Is she going to do exactly what Kojiro did? She's going to make a new corpse girl. She's older than me, perhaps by a decade, but she's by no means less beautiful than I am. Her hair is long and soft, and I get a sudden urge to brush it aside, to sweep it away from her eyes and tell her everything is going to be okay. Before I can even understand it, I'm standing up on the bed in order to reach up to the ceiling. I rest one hand lightly on her shoulder, then I go ahead and brush some of the stray locks from her eyes with my fingers. If I look past those empty eyes, those eyes that stare at me and see everything I am, if I look past them, I see a truly gorgeous woman before me. I'm utterly entranced by her. I rest my cheek against hers, her skin still surprisingly warm. Perhaps she did not perish as long ago as I initially assumed.
I'm sorry.
I don't know why I say those words. Maybe it's guilt. Guilt? I caused a lot of people to end up like her, forced them to end their own lives out of fear or distress or desperation. No, that's wrong. I'm not guilty of those things. Corpse Girl is the one responsible. It's not my fault those people died. I wasn't myself. Regardless, to think that I helped Corpse Girl destroy so much beauty makes me feel ill.
What's your name?
The corpse doesn't answer.
A silent type, eh? That's okay. It's kind of cute. My name's Noriko. Are you hungry? Can I treat you to a meal?
No reply.
Shh, it's okay. Come on, I'll get you down from there. Let's get you dressed. I'll put you in something nice. It's warm outside, so how about a light dress?
Nothing. It takes some time to unloop the rope from her neck and return her to the floor safely. Some part of my subconscious knows exactly how to move her carefully, to dress her, to apply her makeup and bring out her inner beauty. I can't recall if I've done something like this before. Have I taken a corpse out to dinner before? I can't recall if I just read about it in a book or if I've experienced a similar situation. Just because she's dead doesn't mean that I shouldn't treat her right. Just because she's dead doesn't mean she's not a beautiful and worthy of my love. After a bit of time, my gorgeous friend is dressed to impress. We're ready to go out for dinner. She's not very talkative, so I'll place her order and keep her conversation going. People might look at us, they might stare or even judge us. But we'll be okay. We're two beautiful young women simply enjoying each other's company. She'll start to decay soon, like the stranger flower wilting moments after being taken out of water. As for me, I think I've been decaying for a long time. I hope this nameless corpse girl can help me feel alive again. She offers me a slight smile as I take her hand and lead her out into the blinding lights of the hallway. I blush. Unlock the false ending. Okay, so that was the false ending. Nobel Sinclair 1 year later. How many endings do we have? It's like Lord of the Bloody Rings. The book is almost warm in my hand. It's a pristine volume fresh off the printing press. Paperback, though I would have preferred hardback. Been a while since I last published a book. Years. The few fans I have probably thought I disappeared off the face of the planet. I did in a way. Not my fault. Death is death. Nobel Sinclair died in a fire inside his family home. That was a long time ago. Even though my name's burned to ash, my body survived. Had to pick up a new name after that. Can't wander this planet without one. This body went on living for quite a while with the new name. I even grew to like it. Then the strangest thing happened. Another fire inside a morgue. This time the new name went up in flames. My body survived again. Fate? Don't know. Felt a bit lost after that. I said Koji was Nobel Sinclair. Felt a bit unlike anybody. I decided to pick up the old name, dusted it off, pinned it on my chest. Nobel Sinclair. It always suited me. Mother gave it to me after all. This time I didn't want to completely disregard my existence. The time spent as another man, too much happened. I've got too much to tell, too many tales to keep to myself. So this new book tells the entire story from start to end. It wasn't easy typing page after page with only one arm. One of the most taxing and challenging things I've ever attempted. But now it's done. Soon this new volume will hit the shelves across the country. The world will know everything. I use a pseudonym throughout the book to protect the identities of the guilty. Didn't print Noriko Kurosawa's real name even once. Didn't identify Junpei Matsumoto or Aoi Sato. Didn't call out Tomoe Watanabe or even that wannabe detective that always chases me, Shinya Fukujawa. And most importantly, I didn't print my previous name. Not that name anyway. I confessed a lot of things within this text. I even confessed my involvement with the Human Removal Service. Getting caught up in that organisation's web of death wasn't something I ever intended to do. It wasn't something Kojiro would ever would have done. But it was necessary in order to finish this latest book. Noble Sinclair rose through the ranks of the Shadow Society within mere weeks. Chalk it up to his or my macabre experiences. Couldn't have done it without the connections I formed as Kojiro. Couldn't have done any of this without him. I'm at the top of the ladder now, so to speak. Got a bunch of killers on my payroll, even the dog Junpei is on my leash now. Don't know where I'll go from here. Original plan was to shut down the Human Removal Service, delete its existence as a final act of love for Noriko. But the power is nice, the power is intoxicating. Again, Kojiro wouldn't have toyed around with something like this. I'm not Kojiro. I look over the book in my hand once more. It's heavy, full of words that carry more weight than they should. Whether people believe the content of this book is out of my control. But those with a keen intellect will surely be able to piece the truth together. My eyes scan the cover over and read the large embossed letters. Corpse Factory, a novel by Noble Sinclair. I've never been more proud of my work. So his entire act was unreliable narrator. Emmy's prologue was unreliable narrator. The end. Do you know what? It's not clever writing to have two unreliable narrators. Sarcophagus sealed. Clear the game achievement. There is some good twists and turns. I'm glad we got a good ending for Tomoe. Two unreliable narrations from their first person perspective feels lazy or clumsy. You do it twice, it's lazy or just bad writing. What's the ending say? Does it just play him again? Or does it say something? Which ending would you like to view? True, false, hell. So I have all of them. I got an ending and then I got a false ending. Did I have a hell ending? I think I had bonus ending. I think I read that, didn't I? I read the words bonus ending out loud. Epilogue is what we just had, I think. And I had false ending. Ending C hell.
Good morning. Sorry I'm late.
I make a quick, apologetic bow to my co-workers before hurrying over to my desk. No one seems too bothered about my tardiness. A few people offer a raised eyebrow, but they quickly return to their own work. I take a seat on my workstation and switch my computer on. It whirs to life as I organise my belongings. From my handbag, I retrieve some key items. First is my canned coffee, still ice cold thanks to the convenience store's powerful refrigeration. Second is my headphones. I can't complete a day of tedious data entry without listening to music. Last but not least is my phone. The screen is a little cracked and the protective case has seen better days, but it's invaluable to me. Something feels slightly off as I look to the screen. There's a nagging feeling in my mind, some small voice telling me that this isn't my phone, but I know it's mine. The familiar red case, the spiderweb fractures inching across the glass. It's my phone, no doubt about it. Pushing the strange thoughts from my mind, I turn my attention to my computer. It doesn't take long to read over the day's list of tasks. I'll be continuing what I started yesterday. Easy!
Noriko?
I'm startled by the sudden vocalization of my name. I don't know why. People call me by my name every day. Don't they?
Oh, hello, Fujikawa.
Shinya Fujikawa is standing at my desk, scratching his cheek awkwardly. I get the feeling he wants to approach a topic of conversation that makes him nervous.
I wanted to apologize. I haven't been present in the office of late. Was there anything you needed to discuss with me during my absence?
I think about the question. Shinya and I don't really need to talk on a day-to-day basis. His work is fairly unrelated to mine. I'm just a data entry temp after all. But we do have a history together. I suppose we went to school together after all. We were never exactly friends. Actually, I always kind of had the feeling he had a crush on me, but he's not really the type of guy to make a confession. Aoi always used to joke about how he and I would make a cute couple, but I could never see it. He was and still is far too dull for my taste. Is it the hell ending because it goes back to the beginning? Because this is like the start, isn't it? Aoi. Why does that name sound so distant? I try to put a face to the name, but my mind draws a blank. She was my best friend, and yet...
Noriko?
Oh, sorry. I get lost in my own head sometimes.
Yes, I see. Well, if there's nothing you need, then I'll be on my way.
Okay then.
Say, your old friend, Aoi Sato, have you heard from her lately?
No. Actually, I feel like something must have happened to her. We haven't spoken in... God knows how long.
If that's so, that's too bad.
I find it odd that he leaves the conversation with those last words. He simply walks away from my desk. My phone cries out. The unfamiliar ringtone, one that I never selected, splits my head wide open and prompts my brain to split up between the cracks in my skull. I squeeze the sludgy grey matter back into my head and blink a few times, then realise that my brain is not actually leaking, just a trick of the light. I struggle to maintain eye contact with the screen. The caller ID flashes across the device, identifying the caller as Noriko. Me, my own name, myself. Noriko is calling me. I'm calling myself. A dull ache still throbs within my head, as though it has been recently emptied. I answer the call.
Hello?
I hear a sharp inhalation of breath, and then the call cuts out. It takes a few seconds for me to realise I'm crying. Shinya is at my side, his arm around my shoulders, and within a second, the rest of my co-workers are staring down at me. I'm on the floor, my face nestled within the plush office carpet, but I don't know how I got here. I'm supposed to be stoic, unflinching. It's my ideology, my entire identity. So much for stoic, unflinching Noriko. Remember stoic, unflinching Noriko? Maybe if I just close my eyes, I can make everything return to normal and I start this day over again. The stairs upward feel particularly difficult to climb today. It was a rather strange day at the office, but I know that returning home to my family will make me feel better. Shinya took me to the train station and waited until I boarded my train. It was really sweet of him. I don't fully recall the things that he said to me. He might have mentioned something about not needing to return to the office anymore. Maybe all my work there is completed. My head is still a bit fuzzy, but I sift through the details after a hot shower later tonight. Since the sun is beginning to go down, I think the others should be home by now. Noriko is probably relaxing on the sofa, and Mother should definitely be here since she doesn't leave the apartment these days. I unlock the door to the apartment and wander inside.
I'm home.
Stepping through the open door is always a comforting feeling. It's good to return after a long day at work.
Here you are. Good evening, big sis. Good evening, Mom.
Noriko offers me a warm smile. She's changed a lot recently. Her foul, rebellious attitude disappeared when she moved in. Maybe she simply wanted our family to be reunited again. Maybe her delinquency was all an act, a way of trying to deny what she really wanted, to simply return home. Mother, on the other hand, doesn't really regard my entrance, but that's nothing to be concerned about. She's always distant and aloof.
Shall we order in tonight? I'm thinking some pizza would be delicious.
Noriko nods. The act causes a small clump of her hair to detach and flutter to the floor. I'm looking forward to a quiet night in with my family and some pizza. I never had the opportunity to enjoy these moments when I was growing up. In those days, I was simply grateful for the nights I could go to bed without a new bruise or gash to cover up. Mother used to kick me and slap me, but hang on. I look at her now, slumped on the couch, completely lost in her own world. That's not the mother I used to abuse me. That's not the mother that was married to my father. And Noriko never used to stand up for me, but that's because Noriko was never there when I was growing up. Where was she? I shut my eyes and try to sift through the confusing fragments of memories swirling within my mind. She's not my mother, this woman before me. She's Noriko's mother, that's it, that's how I know her. Wait, of course she's my mother. I'm Noriko, duh. How could I forget something so simple? Noriko was there when I was growing up. The reason she never stood up for me is because no one ever abused me. God, I don't know why I get so confused and frazzled like this. Sometimes I smile at my loving family and clap my hands together.
Okay, I'm going to order dinner. Is everyone happy with barbecue pizza?
Noriko nods and Mother's legs let out a quiet snore of approval. I whip my phone up to eye level and open a food delivery app. I notice that my battery only has 8% left. I should charge it up before it dies on me. I keep a charger here in the living room, so it only takes me a second to walk over to the wall socket. As I lean down to grab the charger, I see that another phone is already plugged in. Another phone? The case is blue and the screen doesn't have a trace of damage on it. Whose phone is this? I nervously tap the screen and see a list of noise notifications. There are a lot of messages from someone named Junpei. Junpei, it's a name that doesn't ring a bell. I check to see if the phone is unlocked by pressing my thumb against the home button. Strangely, my fingerprint unlocks the phone instantly. My fingerprint? But this isn't my phone. This can't be my phone. The messages from Junpei all open in quick succession. Babe, good news. Wait for... Coffee today? Are you mad at me? Talk to me, my whittled cherry blossom. I miss you. Did I do something wrong? That splitting sensation inside my skull returns as my eyes devour the contents of the never-ending string of messages. I feel like I know this person, but I can't picture a face. I can't picture any scenario which we have ever met or spent time together. Why does he speak to me in such a familiar way? Wait, he's not speaking to me. Of course, this isn't my phone, so these messages were never intended for me. I throw the phone aside, happy to have broken free of my concern. It doesn't matter who the phone belongs to, it's not mine, so I don't have to deal with it. I plug my own phone into the charger and feel relieved as I watch the battery icon slowly fill up.
Okay, Mom, Yuriko, I'm going to go take a shower while my phone charges. I'll order dinner after that. I promise. Thank you for being patient.
For the first time in a while, Mother actively responds to my voice.
Noriko?
Her head lifts slightly and she regards me with her dull eyes.
Mom?
Where am I? You're not Noriko.
A bead of sweat forms on my forehead and a shiver crawls slowly down my spine like a spider. Her firm, accusatory tone immediately chills me to the bone.
Of course it's me, Mom. It's me, Noriko.
No, you're... Where am...
Panic settles on her delirious face. I don't exactly blame her for being scared and confused. She's been in a near vegetable state ever since I attempted suicide. But for her to not recognize me, for her to forget what her own daughter looks like, that's inexcusable, unforgivable. I'm Noriko, damn it. I fall to my knees, the splitting, throbbing, aching pain in my skull reaching a crescendo, threatening to blow my brains out across the living room.
I'm Noriko! Noriko Kurosawa! Look at me, Mom! Look at me!
Mother's eyes widen and she looks like she's going to vomit. She turns to see Yuriko, white and ghastly, in the seat next to her, and a tear forms in her eye.
What have you done? What is this?
Just shut up! Just shut up and be a part of my perfect family! Look at us! All three of us! We're the Kurosawa family! And we're finally back together! We're happy, right? We're happy!
Still on my knees, I slowly lower my head to the ground and let it rest on the soft carpet. I barely register the sound of the door behind me opening slowly. After the creaking hinges come to rest, a strong voice floods my
Yo,
ears.
Harold. You're Noriko no longer. Got work for you.
The source of the voice wanders towards me and towers above my face-down form. He said I'm no longer Noriko. Can my identity just slip away so easily? Can it vanish into thin air like it was never truly a part of me?
No, I will always be. I am Noriko!
I leap to my feet and launch myself at the man who dared to enter my apartment and tell me that I'm not truly who I want to be. I barely catch a glimpse of his face before he pummels me in the nose with a broad fist. I'm on the floor again, and in an instant the dizzying lights above me spinning in my blurred vision.
Get up. Get your things. We're cleaning up after Corpse Girl's mess.
Okay, that was a hell ending. So did I do all of them? Did I do all of them? I wish it like ticked off which ones you've done. So I definitely have epilogue. I definitely remember reading out the words bonus ending. We've done hell. I did false. So did we do true, or have I not seen true? No, we haven't done this one either. Okay, so this is the last of them. Sometimes on dark and overcast days, I can feel the cold bite of steel inside my gut. It's a phantom sensation that flickers and dissipates within moments. My doctor says it's nothing to be concerned about, but that doesn't prevent me from pulling my clothes aside to examine the skin underneath. The sight of the scar does little to comfort me. I don't think I should have survived this injury. I don't think I should have walked away after regaining consciousness. But somehow I survived that encounter with Aoi. In the darkest recesses of my memory, I can vaguely recall the warmth of strong arms carrying me from that factory, carrying me to safety. Somebody saved me on that fateful day, but I don't know who. Regardless, I owe them my life, my new life, a life that is actually worth something. A life that doesn't consist of skulking in the shadows and pretending to be a beautiful corpse. I look down at the empty plate before me and smile. I'm still not accustomed to the sight of a finished meal, but I'm slowly learning to love it. My stomach feels full, truly full, not just full enough like I used to force myself to believe. I've put on 4 pounds recently, 4 good healthy pounds. My cheeks glow with vitality and my skin is no longer the sickly colour of ghastly flesh. The waiters at this restaurant are probably getting sick of seeing me here every other day, but I don't mind. I eat well here and I've learned to cook at home too. Tomoe, of all people, taught me how to prepare dinner. I never expected to study the culinary arts under someone like her. But she has a knack for bringing out the flavour in food. She says she picked up a few things from years of caring for her kids' siblings. I'm learning a lot from her. I push my plate to the side and take a sip of water. Time to pay the bill and get along. There are things to do tonight after all. Months have passed since the last time I set foot on these cursed grounds. The wafting stench of decay invades my nostrils and threatens to make me spill the contents of my stomach onto the asphalt. It's a stench that I was once completely accustomed to. Now it's a sickening reminder of the person I used to be not so long ago. I didn't want to come here tonight. I didn't want to come here ever. Yet here I am. Call it a hunch or a premonition or just a bad feeling, but some part of my mind urged me to visit this place after receiving a strange text message this morning. A text message that seemed both alien and familiar at the same time. A solitary word decorated the contents of the message: goodbye. But what drew my attention the most was the image attached, a photo of a young woman. A young woman bent over backwards, her face obscured by matted hair and blood, and her chest exploding open from the inside. The young woman in the photo was me. It was an image of my own corpse. The craftsmanship was excellent. The cadaver used to replicate my body looked just like me. My first assumption was the human removal service sent me this photo, but upon a moment of deliberation, that didn't seem to be the case. The human removal service's activity has declined rapidly as of late. The number of murders or suicides, depending on how you look at it, across Tokyo have decelerated so quickly it's almost as if the human removal service never existed at all. Besides, that organisation had a particular trademark when sending out doctored corpse photos. They would include instructions with the message, instructions for the victim to follow, usually involving the murder of another victim. The message I received simply said, goodbye. My corpse photo feels personal. It's typical of the work I used to perform. It's almost as if somebody took over the identity of Corpse Girl, the role that I once filled. But that's crazy, isn't it? I take a deep breath and stride towards the factory's entrance. I almost choke as I breathe in the thick air. The stench of death hangs like smoke inside the factory. This place looks just as it did when I was last here. The notable exception are the fresh cadavers displayed here, and there upon the warehouse racks. Somebody is living here. Somebody is continuing Corpse Girl's work. And somebody thought it would be wise to target me as a victim. Me, Noriko Kurosawa. Somebody made a fatal mistake. Animalistic instinct rises within me as my legs move with purpose. My feet claw at the damaged concrete ground with every step. I'll kill the new Corpse Girl. I'll kill her and bury her. Enough is enough. I'll end the cycle of death that I started so long ago.
Hello? Who are you?
A meek voice sinks in through the darkness, tugging aside the veil of silence ever so gently. I concentrate hard in order to identify the direction it came from. If I'm taken off guard, even for just a second, it may be my end. My left. The voice came from my left. I spin on my heel and immediately feel bile rise in my throat.
May I help you with something? What the fuck is this? My name is Noriko. Noriko Kurosawa. It's nice to meet you. What's your name? Aoi? Is that you?
I feel like I'm looking into a twisted mirror. The girl before me is not me, and yet...
Are you here to buy a corpse? I have plenty on display. You can browse as much as you like. But that one on the end of the rack is reserved. Sorry.
She runs her grimy hand through her unwashed hair and scratches her scalp violently. A fleck of spittle drips from her lower lip and her eyes glaze over. This is Aoi Sato. Despite the hair and the makeup and the clothes, my old clothes, her voice is the same as I remember.
Aoi, knock it off. You're scaring me. Who is Aoi? Is that your name? Well, it's nice to meet you, Aoi. My name is Noriko.
A moment of clarity brings immediate understanding. Just like I was torn between my own identity and that of Corpse Girl, Aoi has become me. But her transformation hasn't been kind to her. Any recognition of her previous self has vanished. She doesn't even know her real name. After everything I've been through, I should be more forgiving to someone struggling with their identity. I should be understanding and sympathetic. Hold on, I've really got to change my seat. Oh, my arse just suddenly became incredibly numb. I am over 4 hours. I'm about due another break, but we should be able to finish. Aoi, Noriko, gasps for air as my fingers clench her throat. I ram my knee into her stomach and smash her into the warehouse rackings, causing several stiff cadavers to crash to the ground around us.
Stop!
Aoi has lost herself. She has discarded all remnants of who she once was. I'm fine with that. I can almost relate to it. But I am Noriko Kurosawa. I have reclaimed my true self and I won't let her become me. I am Noriko Kurosawa. And this bitch that stabbed me and left me for dead, will not take my life away from me.
Die! Die!
That's the Noriko I know! I press Aoi against the steel racks and feel something within her frail body either bend or break. Her dull, tired eyes begin to droop and the hands scratching at my wrists suddenly give up the fight. I realise I'm panting heavily as I clutch her neck. Her own ragged breathing synchronises with mine and it's almost as though we are one person. No, she is not me.
You are not me!
I scream and feel my fingernails puncture her skin. My fingers pierce her neck and drill into her flesh, stopping only when they clasp tightly around her spinal column. With all the strength I can pull from within me, I twist my arm and throw Aoi on the blood-splattered concrete. She hits the ground unceremoniously, her lightweight body barely making a sound as her vacant dead eyes stare up at the cracked ceiling. I never imagined I'd have to dig up this grave for a second time. When I buried Corpse Girl in the gardens below our former apartment, I didn't predict I'd have to see her again so soon. But here she is, still rotten and miserable. I thought her burial was going to be the end of it all, a symbolic gesture to help me leave behind the person I'd become. It was a way to reclaim my former self and bury the past. Corpse Girl doesn't say anything when she sees me lift the dirt from her resting place. She doesn't give any indications that she even notices my presence. Fine, be that way. I couldn't care less.
I brought a friend for you. Someone to keep you company.
With a great deal of effort, I haul the body of Aoi into the narrow pit and let it collapse beside Corpse Girl. The girl in my old clothes seems to cuddle up to her new companion. It's almost fitting that the person who became me should rest eternally beside the person I had tried to become. I think I can rest easy knowing that they are both in the ground. I think nothing further can prevent me from being Noriko.
Suppose I should say a few words. You were my best friend, Aoi, and I'm sorry I couldn't save you. I'm sorry that I only ever wanted to save myself. I hope that you at least found some happiness by becoming me. Goodbye.
I clutch the small shovel in my hands and begin to fill in the makeshift grave. Everybody's lights are on. She's doing this at like 8 o'clock in the evening. Dirt and rocks pile into the pit slowly. I mistake the faint howl of the wind as a final moan from the girl I once knew as Aoi. Covered in dirt and grime and blood and muck and God knows what else, I collapse onto the floor in my new apartment. I'm very fortunate I managed to find this place. Someone moved out in a hurry and I was able to move right in with just the first month's rent paid up front. I don't know if I'll be able to afford next month's payment, but I'll face that challenge when it arrives. For now, everything is finally over. I should shower or bathe or at least scrub the filth from my skin. But I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. This is the price of being Noriko Kurosawa. I roll over onto my side and grab my phone, slowly bringing it to my eye level. An involuntary frown marks my dirt-encrusted face while I notice the icon for one missed call on my screen. Hello, Pickle. I am just going through all the alternative endings that I unlocked when I finished it. How are you doing? Unknown number. A short message tells me that the caller left a voicemail. I don't know who would have called me at such a late hour. It's well past midnight after all. I close my eyes and let the voicemail play.
Hey. Bit late. Sauce. We should talk. Call me?
Okay, so that was the true ending. Okay, so we've had all the endings. Oh my word. I did it. I didn't think I was going to do it in this stream. The last 2 acts did go by quite quick. Oh my goodness. It's done. I do think 2 of them being unreliable narrators is bullshit. The prologue was told in first person, and then later at the end of the story it's revealed that none of that was true and it was an unreliable narrator thing. And then the entire second act was told in first person, and then we find out at the end that was an unreliable narrator thing as well. So doing unreliable narrator twice is lazy. Speaking as a writer, doing 2 characters in the same story as an unreliable narrator is bullshit. So I don't appreciate... You wanted to do twists, so you just cheat. You earn a twist. You earn a twist. But I did enjoy Tomoe's character growth, because at the start I hated her, and at the end, as we were coming up to the end, I'm like, I don't give a shit about any of these characters, but I want Tomoe to live and to get away with it. And not only did she live and get away with it, but she got back together with her nice guy boyfriend. So I'm happy with that.